Alright, hello all, and welcome to 2016, and more Arch Linux torture videos for you. This is another Redux on GitHub and how to clone your desktop. In this case, Xfce4 desktop. I'm not sure about other environments, but Xfce4 seems to be the easiest one to clone. Alright. I'll try to keep this as simple and straightforward as possible. Just keep in mind, whatever you download, you're going to have to download it again to make sure your clone works. So with that said, here I am in VirtualBox, another blinky cursor, and I haven't installed anything. Just do an ls or ls-la is just your usual bash stuff. That's it. So sudo pacman-S xfce4, and I'll just install the base xfce4 because that's the way it comes in Arch Linux. There's no pulse audio, there's no text editor, there's no file system like GNOME file system, virtual file systems for your trash or anything like that. It's just very basic Xfce4 desktop. So you have to add things for functions that you may want, such as the trash can or a text editor. Okay, so my internet's a little slow today, so I'll pause this and wait for this to finish the download and install, and I'll be back. Okay, so it's installed, and as I said, there's nothing else. There's no text editor, there's no compression utilities, and so on. But what I like about Xfce, actually it's probably Arch Linux doing this, is you can just type in start Xfce4, actually press tab, and it'll bring up the first run Xfce4 desktop. So just use default to start with, and you can start changing the theme or the layout or whatever you want. Everything you do in terms of the layout is going to be in your .configuration folder under Xfce. Okay? So first of all, let's go to Applications, Settings, Manager, Appearance. Let's change it to anything you want. Xfce 4.6. Fonts, let's change that to Slight and RGB. Settings, you can have editable accelerators and event sounds. Okay, that's now been logged into the .config Xfce folder. So go back to all settings and just do, the same sort of idea of what you might want. So menus, if you don't like the right-click applications menus, you just untick this, and it's gone. Icons, if you like single-click, so now you just single-click to open your home folder. You can have these on or off. You notice there's no trash. As I mentioned, there's no GVFS installed. Okay. So we'll leave that. Let's go to the file manager and set it up the way you like. And move on to the panel. You don't like the bottom panel, for example, just click panel 2 and remove it. And now we have panel 1. And so we'll untick lock panel, grab it by the handle here on the top right, left, and maybe make it larger, say 40 pixels, and relock the panel. Appearance, you can make it say alpha transparency or say 80, a value of 80, whatever you want. Items, you can remove or add, so I'm going to remove the action buttons. Notification area, I'm going to untick show frame and bump that up to about 25, 24. Icon size clock, you can set it to 12-hour format if you wish. Window workspace switcher, I don't use it. It's up to you, so I remove that. The separator is fine. I think it's already set to transparent. Yep, and expand. Window buttons, hit the wrench again. Show handle, there's a handle right here at the bottom, right beside applications. Just untick that. It's gone. Okay, and show flat buttons. Close. And that should be it for now for the panel. So let's go to Window Manager. I don't like this roll up thing personally. So take that out. Okay. Go to Advanced, and I don't like it snapping to another. Well, I'm going to disable workspaces, but in case I had one, I just untick these two. That's your preference. So Tweak Manager. Accessibility. You're still going to get the mouse to roll up, but I don't use that, so I just untick it. And you can change this from Alt to Shift. And when you press the Shift key and mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out. Under Workspaces, use mouse to change workspaces. I untick that. Placement, you can have it like small or say somewhere around here. If you go right to large, it'll open at the center. So whatever. Setting, I usually untick shadow under docks and bring up the transparency. I mean, make the right-click menus, pop-up menus a little more transparent, as you can see here. Back to all settings, workspaces, as I said, I just make it 1. Display, I leave that because I'm in VirtualBox. Keyboard, shortcuts, whatever you do, again, is going to be logged. So Xfce 4-terminal, press enter, press Control-Alt-T. Let's add another one, say Sonar, File Manager. Press OK, press a key combination like Alt-H. And there you go. Let's go back to all settings. Power management, again, that's going to be logged as your settings. Adjust that to your liking. And that should be it. So let's test our keys. Alt-H, home folder, Control-T, our terminal. So let's go back to our terminal, and we'll edit the preferences. Actually, let's go to our home folder first, sorry. And I'll zoom in so you can see, just type in .config config. You can see there's 2 folders. Sonar, because we said to enable accelerators, and Xfce 4. Panel, there's nothing in here. Desktop, there's 2 icon sets, as you can see here. If you install GVFS, there'll be 3. Xconf for channel settings, there you go. There's your Sonar, your desktop settings, your keyboard shortcuts, your panel, your power, X settings, the settings manager, the window manager settings. Everything is in the Xfce 4 folder, and Sonar is in its own folder. Okay, so I'm going to leave that open, minimize, and let's go to Edit Preferences and say Appearance, don't display menu bar, this thing here at the top. Make a transparent background, say 80, and that's about it, I think, that I usually use. So close that and reopen it, and it's set like so. However, there's no GUI interface to set how you like the cursor. You notice a block. But if I open my config folder, go to Xfce, there's a new entry, terminal. And of course, I don't have anything to edit this with other than nano, so I'll say open and nano terminal RC. And where it has cursor shape, I usually backspace and type in underline. Control O to write that out, and Control X to quit, for example. And now you can see that it's taken effect immediately. It's an underline instead of a block. Okay, so it's another customization. So I might as well get LeafPad, make it easier. So sudo pacman -S LeafPad. Okay, and while we're at it, let's get GVFS. Oops, GVFS. I believe it's GNOME Virtual File System, and that'll pull in a bunch of stuff. But then you can you'll have access to a recycle bin. It's not going to show up right away. You either log out or restart. Okay. So for archive, I usually use in Grandpa Tuner, but just to make this easier, I'm just going to get file -roller along with P7 7-zip and unrar, because it comes with unzip and zip. Okay, there we go. So you go to your terminal now. It should be able to open with LeafPad, which it does. Now, if you want to add a LeafPad, say options, wrap word, show line numbers, and I think it downloaded the Cantrell fonts. Yeah, you can change that. Say bold and click OK. That's another preference. X count per channel. Now you can see in our config folder is LeafPad because we changed variables. You can see Cantrell bold 12. Alright, again, it's all just in the configuration folder so far. And the MIME apps list is in there as well. Okay, so I'll try to keep this as simple as I can. So the config folder is pretty much what we want to concern ourselves with. And the XDG directories you can get if you want to later. I don't think that's going to affect much unless you add let's add a bookmark. So one more thing. So I'll go to USR share and say applications, send to shortcut panel. I usually rename it to programs. There we go. And go to our home folder. Okay, so let's go on to my main desktop here and go to our Git repo. As I said before, anybody can create an account. You don't have to. Anybody can create one, so you don't have to be a programmer or anything. I've already made a skeleton Arch Xfce, Xfce for Arch, and just a README, which is just this here. So just take this address and copy it. And if you have your virtual machine settings, make sure you have shared clipboard enabled to make it easier to copy and paste. Alright, so you open a terminal, for example, paste, and there's the address. However, before doing that, double check, make sure you have sudo pacman, pacman -S git, not bit, git, and open SSH. I already had git, but I'll just reinstall it just for this demonstration. Okay, so let's go back to here. So I'll just right click and copy and type in git clone. Okay, and paste in the address. Done. So we'll go to our home folder, and there's our Arch Xfce. And if you press Control H, there's a Git layout scheme for you, but you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So we can get to work and just open a terminal. Open a terminal within your new Git repository, and just type in. Just copy your config file into this new Xfce for Arch folder. So cp-r, I suggest doing the full path, so home, your username .config to /home, your username and your new repository from GitHub. Alright, and press Control H again. You can see there's our config from our main system. Keep in mind though, if you press Control H and then upload to Git and forget to hide it, everything will be shown as unhidden in your home folder. Okay, so just make sure you do that. Okay, it's your choice. Also press Control M because I don't use the menu bar. So that's another setting. It's been automatically configured. So guess what? since I did that, I'll have to do that again. Okay, it's not going to ask to overwrite or anything. It's just going to copy it over. Okay, so far so good. So we're done with that so far. And now onto the documentation. You have to get the git config global username, so your user account that you created, and your email address, and then cache helper and the timeout 3600 just to help without asking for your password all the time. So you just copy, paste that in. Same thing with your email. I'll put this in the description or upload it somewhere. So it'll be your user email, okay? Not mine. And you paste that in. And as you can see, just copy and paste these git config files. And finally the timeout. Enter. Clear the screen. We're still on our new Arch Xfce for Arch directory. So just type in git in it to reinitialize the git repository. Okay. Now type in git status, and it's going to say, oh, wow, I found all this stuff. There we go. So it said, use git add file, for example, to include in what will be committed. And then so basically what you do is just copy, and then just type in git add, and paste in .config, or paste in what's on the screen. Copy and paste. Another thing, let's add your GTK-RC file if you want. I mean, yeah, GTK bash RC. I'm sorry. So copy. You don't have to. It's not a directory. It's just a file. So copy home your username dot bash RC / home username your git repo. Let's do this again. Git status. Okay, so it's found the new files because we added them, but we also have to add now the bash RC. So all you do is copy that to save time, and git add, and right click, paste in if you want. Okay, clear the screen so it's not so overwhelming with code. Git status again. Okay, so it's found the new file bash RC and all our new settings. So now we have to commit it. So you just type in git commit -a. It's going to say, why are you doing this? Because we're going to upload this. Just say, you can put anything you want. Added new files or whatever. Make sure you save it and then close. There you go. These will be uploaded to the master. Oops, that's a mistake. My mistake there. This will be uploaded to the master Xfce for _arch on GitHub. So now we just type in git push origin master. It's going to ask you for your password, your name, username, and password. If it responds, there we go. Type in your username and your password, which I'll pause. Hold on a second. Alright, so it said master to master and how much was transferred. So let's go to our main desktop and go to our git repo, your git repo, and go to repository. Oh, it says look at recently Arch Xfce for Arch, and there it is. There's your config files that you just created in your bash RC. So that's basically all you have to do. Okay, so I've logged out, and I'm going to delete the .config folder and also delete the .cache folder. So rm-r.config, it's gone. and rm-r.cache. You can put an asterisk there. Remove those. And depending, you might have to reboot. So we have to reclone that. So now we'll just git clone your from github.com/ whatever your username and your repository Xfce _arch, I think. Okay, so we ls and you see arch is our new repo. So cp-r xfce4.config /home your username, and well, yeah, let's try it without the .config. And let's try start xfce4. Voila! There you go. It's back to the way it was. So let's log out, of course, the session, and just log. I didn't mean to restart. Sorry, my mistake. And if for some reason you don't want it, you want to go back to the way things were, just rm-rf.config and rm-rf.cache to be on the safe side. And do a quick restart. Then after logging in, do start xfce4, and you're going to get the default settings again. Okay? And let me see, your home folder. We still have the Arch Xfce4 folder. So that's why it's I like to use this without a login manager. So I can log out or restart and not having to switch to another terminal. So let's do that again one more time just to make sure we got this all straight. rm-rf.config and .cache, and then copy -r your git xfce4 git repo.config /home your username, and then start xfce4. Again, it works. Okay, so I hope that helps you out. I hope this hasn't been too complicated for you. It's just a very basic example of, out of the box Xfce4. Okay, so that should do it for this one, and please feel free to add any comments or any other questions you may have. And we'll talk to you soon, and bye for now.